Hey everyone, today we're making this bourbon caramel baked French toast. Yeah, baked French toast. That means you're not slaving over the stove, you're just chilling with a mimosa while you wait for it to cook. Not only is it tasty and delicious and easy to make, it's packed with antioxidants. It's great for your gut health. You're gonna find out why. Why? Because it's made with California prunes. Okay, let's get to the recipe. Oh, and stay tuned to the end. I have storage tips, just like I always do. Okay, let's get cooking. Okay, so you're gonna melt your butter in a medium saucepan, and then you're gonna add in cream. Then you're gonna add in your brown sugar, and you're gonna bring that mixture to a boil, and you're gonna cook it for about 3 minutes. Also, have you ever had your brown sugar just brick up? Well, I'm gonna tell you how to store it and how to soften it, so be sure to stay through to the end. Okay, so after it's cooked, you're gonna remove it from the heat, you're gonna add in the salt, you're gonna add in your bourbon, maybe take a shot for yourself. And then you're gonna add in those California prunes. You can just see those antioxidants falling right in there, just sliding right into your caramel. This is a delicious, delicious caramel. So you're gonna take your bread, cut it into 1-inch strips. I like that Texas toast, that thick bread. Just cut that into 1-inch strips. Now we're gonna prepare our custard for the French toast. Oh, and hey, I have a hack for how to freeze your bread. You're gonna wanna see this, so be sure to stay tuned. Okay, so you're gonna coat a 9x13 baking pan with some of that caramel. Just spread that out across the bottom of the pan. And then you're gonna take your slices of bread and put them into the pan. You wanna make sure you just squeeze as much in there as having contact with the pan as possible. That's gonna allow it to absorb the custard that you're about to add to it next. So now we're making our custard. You're gonna whisk together your eggs, your milk, your cream, add in that vanilla extract, add in some cinnamon. This is gonna be delicious, guys. So you're gonna take your custard and you're gonna cover all of that bread with it. Then you're gonna add in the remaining caramel sauce. Then go in and add those pears because you need some California pears with it too, right? So add in the pears and then cover the baking dish with aluminum foil. Put it in the fridge and let it rest for an hour so the bread can absorb all of that custard. Set that oven to 350 degrees and then you're gonna put the pan with the cover on and bake it in there for about 30 minutes. After the 30-minute mark, you wanna remove the foil, bake it for an additional 15, and that's gonna allow that top part to get nice and crunchy and crisp, and those pears just to get soft and tender. Remove it from the oven, add in some of those sliced almonds, dust it with a little bit of powdered sugar, and boom, dig in. You have a delicious, indulgent, antioxidant-rich, gut-healthy baked French toast with a bourbon caramel that you're just gonna love. Okay, are you ready for it? It's time for just the tip. Here they are. So what's the shelf life of brown sugar? Brown sugar will last indefinitely if you store it properly. That means no exposure to air, no exposure to moisture. It might brick up, but that's okay. If it bricks up, you can actually just put it in the microwave for 10 seconds at a time with a damp cloth, fluff it with a fork in between runs, and guess what? That'll soften it right back up. It's still safe to eat, it's still good to eat, it's just losing some of that moisture. But brown sugar stored properly will last forever. Did you know that with butter, you can actually just freeze it in the packaging it comes in? You don't have to do anything. It'll last up to a year that way. I do have one catch though. I recommend cutting up the butter how you use it. So if you use a tablespoon at a time or 4 tablespoons at a time, whatever your regular use is for butter, cut it up that way and then put it back in its original packaging and put it in the freezer. That way you can just break off what you need. It's gonna be kind of a hassle if it's completely frozen. You're gonna have to wait for it to thaw. Same thing works for bread. For sliced bread, if you take a slice of bread and stack it kind of like fallen dominoes and then double wrap it and put it in the freezer, stored that way, it'll last a lot longer. And the great thing about it is you can easily break off a piece at a time when it's in that position. If you store it as a whole loaf, it's gonna kind of freeze together as a block. But as fallen dominoes, it makes it really easy to break off the bread when you need it. Since we use vanilla in this recipe, the shelf life of that is also like brown sugar. It's indefinitely, like it lasts forever. Now, you also have to store it in a cool, dark place. The other thing too is I recommend actually using it within 5 years. It's gonna start to grade in flavor. It won't go bad, but real vanilla extract will last indefinitely. For the prune lovers, for the people that are using prunes in this recipe, guess what? Here's what you do. Take those prunes, put them in an airtight container, seal that up, put it in the fridge. If you store prunes that way, they'll stay fresh, moist, sorry for saying moist, and delicious and just juicy for about a year stored that way in the fridge after you open the package.